The story kicks off on a bright and sunny morning inside a bustling office. Amidst the chaos, we meet our protagonist, Dunn, who is currently under fire. A woman sharply scolds him, demanding to know if he has finished the work she assigned him. Caught off guard, Dunn hesitates before admitting that he hasn't done anything yet. Her glare sharpens instantly, and she launches into a full-on rant, leaving Dunn simmering with frustration. Her name is Miss Aang, a woman who seems to have mastered the art of delegation, passing all her tasks onto Dunn while spending her own time endlessly scrolling through social media. Biting his tongue, Dunn wonders how someone like her even got hired. As Miss Aang storms off, she throws in one last command, ordering him to have everything ready by 10 o'clock before leaving him boiling with even more frustration. Trying to distract himself, Dunn pulls out his phone and checks the status of his prized Arrow coin, a digital currency he has invested heavily in, and a flood of memories rushes back. He poured everything he owned into this coin, dreaming of the day it would skyrocket and turn him into a millionaire. Dunn was casually scrolling through an article, minding his own business, when out of nowhere, a voice piped up behind him, asking what he was working on. The sudden voice nearly made Dunn jump out of his seat. Turning around, he saw Eugene, standing there with her usual sly grin. Startled, he asked why she was sneaking up on him like that. Eugene, always quick with a tease, caught a glimpse of his phone screen and smirked before making a comment about him looking at something suspicious again. She jokingly asked if he never got tired of that. Her mischievous smile only deepened as she added that if he kept this up, he might lose his job one day, but she wasn't done yet. She playfully remarked that if he was at work, he should be working, not reading dirty webtoons. But if it was that good, she wouldn't mind getting a recommendation. Dunn stared at her, unsure if she was being serious or just messing with him as usual. Before he could respond, a sharp voice cut through their banter, ordering them to stop chatting and get back to work. Their boss, Lysoi, had arrived. Eugene quickly scurried off, leaving Dunn to deal with the aftermath. Lysoi, a woman obsessed with money and performance metrics, glared at Dunn before snapping at him to quit scrolling the web and do his job. With a heavy sigh, Dunn turned back to his work, internally grumbling about how no matter how hard he worked, she would just steal all the credit anyway. And then, it hit him that a sudden realization washed over him like a cold wave. Miss Aang, Eugene, and Lysoi weren't just annoying colleagues. They were his high school bullies, now reincarnated as his superiors and co-workers. His nightmare hadn't ended. It had only evolved into full-blown office hell. The scene then shifts to a small convenience store, where Dunn is chatting with a part-time worker. She seemed shy but happy, her cheeks tinged with a slight blush as she spoke softly about how much she enjoyed working there. Before Dunn could respond, she gently grabbed his hand, her enthusiasm shining through as she encouraged him, wishing him a great day and promising to keep supporting him. Her words left Dunn both flattered and a little awkward. Back at the office, the atmosphere was the polar opposite. The trio of torment, Miss Aang, Eugene, and Lysoi, were laughing and chatting among themselves, completely ignoring their workload. Meanwhile, Dunn was stuck at his desk, grinding through tasks. He glanced at them, frustration simmering inside him. They just fool around all day while I'm drowning in work. The thought of quitting crossed his mind again, but reality hit him just as quickly. With only a high school diploma to his name, finding another job wouldn't exactly be easy. He sighed, feeling the weight of his situation pressing down on him. Suddenly, a notification popped up on his phone. His eyes widened. It was an alert from Arrow Coin. The value had plummeted by 50%. Panic immediately set in as sweat dripped down his forehead. Desperately, he opened the app to sell his coins before the damage got worse. But, as if fate had other plans, Lysoi suddenly appeared out of nowhere. She barked at him to put his phone down and get back to work. Marching over to him, she reached out to snatch the phone from his hands. Dunn froze, caught between her scolding and his financial crisis. When he hesitated, Lysoi made her move, grabbing for his phone. In the struggle, the phone slipped and hit the ground with a thud. His heart racing, Dunn scrambled to pick it up, praying it would still work. But when he pressed the power button, his worst fear became reality. The phone wouldn't turn on. He stared at the blank screen, helpless as his financial dreams crumbled before his eyes. As Dunn continued exploring the app, he noticed a purchase button. Curiosity got the better of him, and he tapped it without hesitation. To his astonishment, the transaction completed, and the girl, still red-faced, agreed to play a game with him. She grabbed his hand and led him to the storage room in the back of the convenience store. Dunn could hardly believe what was happening. His thoughts spiraled, questioning if this was really happening or just some wild dream. Having never dated anyone, he felt unsure about what to do. However, as he looked at her standing before him, something in him reacted. The girl, looking at Dunn with a hint of nervousness, softly asked what she should do next. His mind was racing, his heart pounding. He hesitated for a moment before awkwardly suggesting that she maybe start with her mouth. The girl nodded shyly, her face flushing even more as she stepped closer to him. Dunn's breath hitched as she closed the gap between them. His heart felt like it might burst out of his chest before he could process what was happening. Her lips pressed gently against his. The kiss was tender yet filled with unexpected warmth. Dunn, overwhelmed by the intensity of the moment, found himself unable to hold back any longer. His thoughts raced, and all he wanted was to fully immerse himself in the game with her. Sensing his eagerness, the girl glanced downward. Her curiosity peaked when her eyes fell upon the equipment, and her cheeks turned an even deeper shade of red. Dunn's weapon turned out to be quite the legendary item. So much so that the cashier girl, with her playful energy, started interacting with it like a curious cat. However, being a beginner adventurer in this particular game, she accidentally used a teeth attack on the equipment. Realizing her mistake, she quickly pulled back and apologized with an embarrassed laugh, saying it was her first time. Dunn, maintaining his composure, reassured her that it was fine and they could just move on to the next phase. With that, she opened her dungeon, allowing our hero to inspect it carefully before entering. Armed with his mythical SSR-grade Excalibur, he cautiously navigated the dungeon. At first, he took a wrong turn, leading to some unexpected detours, but eventually he found the right path. With precision and determination, Dunn destroyed the demons lurking within, one by one, completing a flawless raid. The girl, now thoroughly exhausted from the effort, leaned back with a satisfied smile. She caught her breath and expressed how glad she was to have helped him. For Dunn, however, the adventure wasn't over just yet. Fueled by the thrill, he eagerly asked if they could dive into the dungeon for a second round. But the cashier girl regretfully reminded him that her break time was over and that she had to return to the counter. She cheerfully bid goodbye to a customer. Her professional demeanor returning. Dunn, seizing the moment, handed her his business card and said that maybe they could meet again sometime for a proper raid next time. As he walked away, the girl looked down at the card, her lips curling into a warm smile. The next day, Dunn strolled into the office, brimming with newfound confidence with his wealth in tow. He proudly declared that he was there to resign. His boss, Lysoi, raised an eyebrow and coldly responded, questioning if he really thought she would just let him quit so easily. She reminded him that there was a procedure for everything and that this wasn't his university, where he could simply walk away whenever he felt like it. Dunn clenched his fists, his frustration bubbling over as she continued her lecture. He tried to keep his cool, but her words pierced through him like arrows. Finally, something snapped, fueled by pent-up anger. He destroyed her front defense with one swift move, leaving her stunned. Lysoi, now exposed and vulnerable, frantically tried to hide her cannons, but it was too late. Without hesitation, Dunn used his trusty app and initiated a game session with her. The tables had turned, and for once, he felt in control. Suddenly, he jolted awake, snapping back to reality. It was all just a dream, a wild, adrenaline-fueled daydream born from his frustration. Back in the real world, Lysoi calmly signed his resignation letter, handing it over to him with a smirk. She wished him good luck, sending him off. Dunn walked out of the office, his thoughts racing. Now that I've resigned, what should I do? Buy a house? A car? Start a new life? Just as he was lost in his musings, his senior called out teasingly, asking if he was just going to disappear without saying goodbye. He turned to her, visibly annoyed, making it clear that he wasn't her punching bag anymore. The girl, shocked, raised an eyebrow, questioning if he had completely lost his mind after quitting his job. She mocked him, saying that if he lacked an education, he should at least make up for it with some common sense. She sneered, pointing out that he had nothing going for him and sarcastically asked if he had hit the lottery or something. Laughing, she reminded him that he was the same guy who always went to the convenience store because he couldn't afford proper meals. Dun's patience were thin. Waving her off angrily, he declared that he had a lot of money now and sarcastically asked if she needed some. Without waiting for her reply, he pulled out his phone, opened his app, and scanned her with a smirk. Let's see what kind of dungeon raid you're hiding. That's all for today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and share your thoughts in the comments, and please hit that subscribe button. It really helps keep us motivated to bring you more exciting manhwa content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.